Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this video. If you have seen the other videos on my YouTube channel, you've seen some videos that are about making comics, and it goes from sketching, inking to coloring as well, and script writing. And so very basic. It's not like super in-depth videos, but during those videos, I always, well, I shouldn't say always, I had mentioned that I would do some traditional videos with drawing, and so here is one of those videos. And so this particular video won't necessarily correlate with making comics, but it will just simply be about just drawing and sketching, which you can then apply to making a comic or whatever, because making the comic videos were not just simply about making comics. You can apply some of those techniques and perspectives to whatever field that you're doing. In this video, it's going to be about penciling. I have a penciling case here. This is a 12 piece set, and honestly, they may be very better high-end pencils. This is Faber-Castell. I don't really know. I usually just go by feel. I'm not a brand type individual unless that particular brand offers a it offers a result that I want, and then I'll get it, but it's not because of the brand. So you just pick whatever works best for you, your style. Some pencils, the lead base are more softer. Even if you go into the harder, like the H's, they're still more soft and greeny. Some are more smooth, and so it all depends on your style. So yeah, so this is a pencil set. We're really only going to work with, I'll put that aside, we're only going to work with the if we can get this camera, this is the H, the 5H. We're going to work with the 5H, the HB, and the 3B. So, and we may go up to like maybe 5B. I mean, in my set, 5B is the highest. I mean, there's, like I said, different sets. And basically, if you're new to penciling, the H is the harder pencil lead, and so it's lighter. And I don't know if you can, in post, I may just zoom in so you can see that better, but it's a lighter lead. And so, and then when you get up to the B's, 3B's, 4B's, it's a softer lead, and so it comes across darker on whatever paper or medium you're using. So we're just using two, and you know what? And the eraser, and I may put in how the eraser can, I don't know, maybe I'll use a different video. I keep trying to pace myself because I want to jam everything in, but at the same time I want these videos to be shorter and more easily digestible. But penciling, your eraser can be a tool as well. And so, like I said, I may show it briefly in this video, and then make another video on it. So I don't think I can make it that extensive. So it's kind of a dirty one. Anyway, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a composition. I'm gonna let you know what it's gonna be. It's basically gonna be a pumpkin, one of my favorite natural items to draw. And so but yeah, and so this is going to be basically a sketch. So this is a sketching penciling video. So pumpkin, we all know pumpkins have a general shape which is like a circle, and so I'm going to do a circle. Now this is lighter, so it may not pop on screen as much as this. But here we go. We're starting off with a circle, and honestly, I'm sketching. So if I was actually doing a finished piece, that I would, these lines would even be lighter, so that way when it comes to erasing or blending in the lines, it wouldn't require too much delicate erasing. But since I'm just sketching, I'm just showing you what it's going to be like. So we start off with a circle, and then we're going to start off with the stem. Stem is kind of like a triangle, right? So here you go. That's more like a rectangle, but you get the gist. If I made it at a point, it'll be more like a triangle. So here we go. And then we know we have these lines. It almost looks like a basketball, to be honest with you, when you look at a pumpkin. Just an oversized. Well, some pumpkins are smaller. So, and then we go there. And with your HB, you can designate, where you want your light and shade. Where you want the direction of your light, and that will determine where your shade, your shadows, I should say, would be. So let's just say light is coming in from this direction. And if you want a composition to be very dynamic, you could have different light source. Maybe light is coming from this way as well. So, but for now, we'll just say light is coming from a primary source from this direction here, light. So then that would mean to the left will be shadow. And so you can just lightly, this is just what I usually do, just put some lines. That way I know that, hey, this is where the shadow it will hit. And then here, this is where the shadow will cast. So start all of that with the 5H. Actually, you know what? No wonder why it was darker. I made a mistake, and I'm not going to change the video, but I made a mistake. See, that was the HB. I wanted to start with the 5H. And so, because the 5H, see, that's much lighter. Much lighter. So I was wondering, I was like, man, that's kind of darker for a 5H. So all this is to show that, hey, you can make an error, but as long as you maintain that same technique, you can correct that error. So let's just say, you know what, you wanted these lines to be lighter. You wanted to start off with your 5H, but you made a mistake and you started off with your HB. So, like I said, the eraser is a tool. So you can use your eraser and just lightly go over your construction lines. Just lightly, right? And so now you're turning your HB lines into a softer lead. Now for the camera, this may not work well, but I can see where my original lines were from. So that technically would have been what an HB line construction would look like, as you can see right here. So then you can come with your HB, right? Is it HB? Yeah, it's HB. You come with your HB, and then you can do your final solid line construction. So here we go. And I don't want to speed up the video, so I'm just going to speed up my lines. So, and as you know, although I said a pumpkin, kind of reminiscent of a basketball, but it's not perfectly cylinder. So you want to add some imperfections around the edge just to show that it's not like symmetrical. Now some pumpkins are smooth, but if you've seen a pumpkin in real life, you'll know that it's not a perfect circle. So there we go. So now we use the HB. Different technique with HB2. Yeah, you can put it to the side, and you can add some initial base shadows. Again, it's not super dark, but it's you're just highlighting, okay, where the light source is going to come from. Okay, so here you go. Where's the light source going to come from? There. So you're just adding some texture to it, giving it some volume as well. And that's what lighting and shading does. You know, it just adds that three-dimensional feel to your composition. Okay, so here we go. So that's fairly light, but that's just to highlight where your shade points are going to be. And now with your HB, you can come in and then add whatever little details you want to add to your piece. And if you're drawing this actually from looking at an actual pumpkin, then you can add what you're seeing. But if you're doing it from memory, then you're adding in what you would normally come across a pumpkin. Okay, so here we go. So bam, so that's HB. Now we're going to go into the 3B, if I can get that right. See it? Bam. All right. So now this is going to be noticeably darker. And so, and if you're working on your shades, you want to stay where your shade groups are going to be. So that way it will give even a higher level of highlight where the light source is coming from. So we know our shades are here. And again, if you want to go to the side just to give a smoother feel. And honestly, this will also depend on your paper stock as well, what type of paper you're using. If it's rough, smooth, that will influence the overall look of your pencil work as well. Okay, so here we go. Some of these, I don't know what they call them, but these lines on the pumpkin, you can highlight those a little darker right here. And so, like I said, this is 3B. I may go into getting like a 4B just to, and I'm still really lightly applying it. I'm not going in that hard on the pressure. And if I do, I can add a greater level of shadow to that as well. So again, I'm just still smoothing it out so that way, if I'm not comfortable or I don't like a certain angle of it, I can easily erase it without too much issue. So, but here we go. I'm kind of cheating in the sense of I'm just adding some extra little highlights from a different point of view. So I come here and so I will grab a 4B pencil, and that's softer, and it'll allow me to not press as hard but still get the shadow that I want. And so you're building layers upon layers. And yeah, and this is how you do your sketch penciling composition. And this right here happens to be that of a pumpkin. So, and there you have it. So you have these different layers of shadow on top of that layer there. So just real quick before I end the video, HB is really nice because you can add like a little glaze. So you can go over what you've done in the opposite direction, and it just adds a second almost highlight effect to what you've already done, but it's softer. So you're using a harder pencil to actually create a softer effect. And so this is the 5H, and all that is to just add a little bit of character to what you're doing. And so I said I would briefly talk about this being a tool. So if you really want to say, hey, I really want to highlight, you can come back with your eraser, go over those lines again, and really intensify the light source. So you come here, So the lines are very light. And so that really shows that, man, that light source is really intense, to the fact that it's kind of, it's blurring the vision of the lines from there, which makes that more dramatic for your shadows as well. And so, and there you go. And if you want to add a little bit of extra nuance, you can add some weeds on this side and have them be very dark, and then come with your very hard 5H pencil and do some weeds here and have those very light. So then you're showing a contrast even with the background imagery of what you've just created. The light source, shadows, extra elements to illustrate again the light source, and it kind of just puts your whole composition, centers your composition as well. So thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out more videos and illustrations on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michelot Comics. You can also go to my website, which will have the archive of all of my video and illustration works and comics as well. That's michelotlully.com. And check out my Instagram as well, at michelotlully. And if you want to support what I do, it'll be greatly appreciated. You can go to patreon.com/Michelot-Lully. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. Grace and peace.